Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That's Eric over there.
Hello.
That's Vanessa over there.
Hello.
I'm Kelly. Hey, guys. We are not only knee-deep in Halloween season, but we're, 2 weeks away from an election.
Yeah.
I voted today. I put it in the mail today.
You know what I love is all those people who are really just championing get out and vote. I realize what they're really saying is get out and vote as long as you're voting the same way I am. They really don't want you to get out and vote if you're voting against them.
It's true. It is true. I personally will say right now, only vote if you're going to vote for the person I'm voting for. But I don't want this to get political, so I'm not going to tell you who I'm voting for.
Statistically speaking, the more people that vote does lean a certain direction. That's why you see certain-minded people saying get out the vote the most.
Yeah. Well,
Not always, but...
Yeah, definitely undervoted demographic areas. Like when people start to say, hey, people of this, ethnicity and of this gender or whatever, like go out and vote. It is interesting how that can shift. Because I think during Obama, the first Obama election, wasn't there a lot of black females who voted that hadn't emerged before? And it was like, oh my God.
Interesting.
I was just about to say, and you can fill in your own choices on what you think we're talking about, but you kind of...
Oh, no. I'm just giving an example. I'm not telling you which way.
No, I mean, which way it means if I say more people vote leans a certain way. Well, okay.
I'll say this, a very sincere vote for whoever the fuck you want to, because this is America, and fuck you, you're allowed to vote for who you want.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I think our democracy is the thing that is important.
With that being said,
Sure.
I watched Batman, Death in the Family, the animated movie.
I have not heard of this. How was it?
It was excellent. It was based on the Death in the Family storyline where Robin is killed by the Joker.
Yeah.
And it was very good.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
How did you watch this?
It's available to rent on VOD.
Okay, I'll go to
Suddenly it's
VOD.com.
15 years ago.
Does it come as a extra ultraviolet on my Blu-ray? Can I download that?
Tell us about it, Grandpa Young. Yeah, I liked it. The animation is good. DC really knocks it out of the park with their cartoons.
Oh, man. They need to hire whoever writes their cartoons to write their live-action movies or something, but man, they nail it.
This was very interesting because it not only told the Death in the Family storyline, which was very famous in the early 90s, I believe it was, or late 80s, where they had brought in a new Robin, and the fans were not really thrilled with this comic book character. And so DC put out this thing of, you get to decide if he lives or dies, because the Joker's got him captured. And the fans voted overwhelmingly to have him killed.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I mean, because it's also more interesting. It's just more interesting.
It did make for some very cool stories. Then they kind of fucked it all up because they brought him back to life as a character called... is that the Red Hood? Is that who he is, or something like that?
I don't remember.
But this animated feature goes into that part too. So it's not just ending with the death of Robin. In fact, it kind of starts with the death of Robin.
Oh, jeez. Was that a huge name writer on that one, or was it just a good writer,
probably.
So you don't remember?
Yeah.
But it wasn't Frank Miller or
no.
John Byrne or something like that.
It's probably Dick Giordano or something like that. But one of those mainstays from back then. But I don't know who it is.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
It was good.
I wonder if it's any better than Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Of course not.
That was a pretty
Is there
high
anything
stake.
better than that?
It would be hard. It would be real hard.
I knew if I mentioned this that you would throw that in somehow.
Well, because I was trying to think of ones I really liked, and that's definitely up there. So,
Nice.
Yeah. I saw a little movie that really, really late really late to the table on this one. But I kept seeing it pop up on Shout Factory, and I really like the box cover art. And I was like, maybe I should buy this. I was like, no, I should watch it before I buy it. Really, Vanessa, really. 13 Ghosts.
The William
Newer
Castle knockoff film.
The remake of it.
Yes, the
Right,
remake.
yeah,
Yes. Good Lord, is it bad?
Yeah,
It's
very, very bad.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Like, I was just shouting at the screen at the end. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, maybe I'll do it sometime. But
Oh boy, did you buy it then?
I did not think.
Oh, okay.
Thank the heavens. I think I did pay for the rental, but I did not. I don't own a copy of it. Thank God, because it would be Death Row Game Show all over again, and I had to like leave that in a friend of mine's freezer, so that I didn't know that it was there, and I abandoned it
Wow.
because I hated that movie so much.
Much like Victor Frankenstein did to his creation.
There's a weird resurgence too among the youth of horror championing that film too.
Yeah, I don't know why they would have remade that one. I mean, okay, like Matt Lillard, obviously. is
championing the
just-
remake.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay.
I don't get it. What for?
It's not good.
Well, the original is kind of shitty as well.
Well, sure.
I think what happened is a lot of 11-year-olds watched that movie, and it's really set
so-
for 11-year-olds.
Yes,
Yeah, that's true.
100%.
And so then you grow up thinking you love this movie because you did when you were 11.
Yeah, just don't watch it again.
Please, for the love of God, don't.
If you
You'll
like
be
it.
so like, what? 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 Why is he? Why is he dressed like a? Never mind.
Why is everything in this damn house mirrors or glass? What am I? What? Yeah, it's a weird film.
Everything.
I
in
saw
it.
that in the theater too, man. I was
Oh
like,
Jesus! And then it ends with like a little fun. I mean, it's.
Yep.
Anyway, that was mine. That was one of the things I watched.
I saw one that's kicked back up that I thoroughly loved the first episode of. Season 3 of Star Trek Discovery has started up.
Oh my God, has it?
Yeah, the first,
Oh.
just one episode is
Why
out
are we
at this
doing
point.
this? I need to go. I need to go put on my CBS that I paid for.
Well,
so
that's the show, everybody.
Sorry. I love it. At the end, it's like this kind of hope, Star Trek, so it leans towards the hope concept. I'm like, why the fuck am I crying and teared up? Whatever it hit notes for me, just picture perfect. I'm going, God, this is so fucking good.
I'm
You.
stoked because Picard was obviously. Look, I'm excited to see Patrick Stewart alive and acting in anything.
Sure.
I was happy that he's alive. Beyond that, Picard's rough. So anything to redeem. I mean, Lower Decks has been phenomenal as well. I haven't quite finished the first season of it, but every episode I've watched is just stunning.
That's the cartoon, huh?
That's the next thing I was going to, when we got around to me again, that's what I was going to bring up.
I'll not say anything about that. Before I get to my next, I wanted to ask you both. You both got the Friday the 13th
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimate Collection 40 DVDs.
Is this a PSA? Are you letting everyone know?
No, I just want to know what you think of it. It looks really cool, but the movies have never been my thing, so I passed on it.
I really enjoyed how Friday the 13th start. Like, I watched it and was like, when is the mask here? I was like, I really came at it from such a
Isn't that
strange
like
angle.
episode
Yeah,
the
not
third?
till the
It's
third
like,
one.
yeah, it's like
Third one,
the second one is like a sack.
Yep.
I was like, what? When does this show up? And then the third one is almost like a throwaway that it happens. And then, yeah, so watching it evolve has been super pleasant for me. I'm like, where do we go now? Please show me. Like, I'm curious as to what you're going to do.
I'm probably in the minority. I think that that sack mask with the one eye is way creepier than the hockey mask.
Oh, no, it is for
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
Okay.
100%. I was like freaked out. I was like, oh God, what's going to happen now? And then he gets the mask. I'm like, oh, now I'm in like trope land. Yay.
It looks amazing. The remastering is great. I know there's the glitches that people are complaining about, but the level people are complaining about is like, wow, guys, chill just a little bit. But it is, because so much is done so well, the remastering of this stuff, it just looks incredible. It sounds so good too.
I'm super excited to crack in. Honestly, like I got the box and I pulled out the ones that I'm planning on watching for October, and I haven't gotten to sit through them yet. So I'm so excited to hear you say that, because I just was like, well, they're all together once in a box. Meh. So the fact they look and sound good is such a big plus for me.
Yeah. I mean, if people had come out and said there's errors and they should be fixed, that's fine. But I mean, I'm on a couple like Severin and Shout Factory pages or Twitter feeds or shit, and people are acting like Shout Factory should be shut down forever, and I'm never ordering anything from Shout Factory ever again. It's like,
Look,
Jesus Christ, people.
It's not
Chill
quite
out.
a mom and pop shop, but it's not much more. It's like a small family run business style. It's not fair. Like they put out so much good stuff, and every time I've had a problem with anything, they've always replaced it.
Yep.
They've been very cool about it. Like if they sent me the wrong thing, they're like, just keep it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're sending you the next other thing that we were supposed to send you.
Kelly got a couple Ullman Blu-rays that way.
Yeah, because they kept sending Eric the wrong discs over and over. And so he was like, do you want these? Like, yes, I do.
They've quickly reacted, and they're replacing all the discs for no charge at all. No shipping, no nothing. Just fill out a form.
Opening the box alone was it felt like an Apple product, the way they had the box like structured. And then I didn't care at all about the posters, but had ordered in such a way that I got them, and I unrolled them, and I was like, these look cool. These are good, high quality posters.
Oh, very cool. To your point, Eric, about the Facebook groups, I have learned that Facebook groups are fucking shitholes.
Yes.
Fan groups are the easiest way to realize you don't belong in those fandoms.
Yeah.
I never realized there's a subgroup of DVD and Blu-ray collectors that keep them sealed.
What?
What is the point? I get it with action
No.
figures because they're sitting on a card and there's cool art and there's a lot involved with that.
Yeah.
But what is the keeping cellophane on a movie do to make it? I'm the first person that ever watched this.
It's mint, bro.
No, okay. I figured it out. Okay, so some dude bro buys a bunch of cool DVDs because he wants to look cool, and then some girl comes over and he's like, yeah, look at my rad collection. She's like, you didn't even open these. And he's like, no, they're mint. That's what happened.
I just
'Cause there's
rent them
literally
on Amazon and watch them.
I'm not gonna taint this with my skin oils, honey. You kidding? What would Spielberg think of that? Like that, there's no that's the stupidest crap I've ever heard. I would lose so much respect for somebody if I saw. I feel bad if I look at my own shelf and I'm like, I haven't opened that yet. Jesus, what's wrong with me?
I'm titling this episode "Skin Oil Taint."
You know what I mean. Fingerprint.
You guys, I discovered a show on Netflix that I guess was a CBS show that has come to Netflix now, and it is called Evil.
Ah, yes.
You watch or you've heard? Or...
I've seen a couple of the episodes and then it didn't record or some shit. Stopped watching it, but I saw it was back on Netflix going, I need to get back and watch these again.
Holy cow. I just love it. It's the lead guy from Luke Cage playing a priest in training, and he has been tasked by the church to go and verify or debunk miracles and or possessions. Oh. And he's got a team that he's put together, a super tech wizard who can kind of tell if things are being faked or something like that. And then a woman who is our point of view. We're following her. It's really her story. And she is a legal advisor, and she's been through a ton of cases and stuff like this. And she's just there to, keep everything on the up and up. And she is not a believer. So, boy, it's really good. It feels very much like the first season of Exorcist, which I thought was really good, mixed in with a little bit of early X-Files, maybe. Everything they're examining and going after is all church-based. So it's all holy or unholy or something like that. So there's no aliens or anything like that. But I sure love everything that I've seen so far. I'm 4 episodes in.
I remember it being a moment, especially for TV, having general creepy moments too.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, well, it also has the guy who played Ben Linus on Lost as basically a demon who is tormenting our main guy.
yeah.
And the way he works is he just kind of goes out into the world and kind of convinces people to do really bad things to each other. And it's just been really fun to watch.
I saw a trailer for it and thought it was a movie and was like, eh. So it's a series.
It's a full series, season 1 at least.
Do you know how many episodes are in it?
CBS, so it's probably 20.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to
Oh,
be.
whoa.
Yeah, got to be a full
Whoa.
season.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's called
that sounds-
Evil on Netflix.
Evil.
Evil.
Evil. Somebody's just typing this in over and over again.
Can't wait for the transcript for this one. Evil.
And just like Google it. You're never going to find this thing. So I actually, I decided to go ahead and rewatch Stranger Things, which has made it really hard to get through 31 films in 31 days for my Halloween because I have to bump. I've already got Bly Manor going on. I've got I'm trying to finish up Raised with Wolves. Had to finish up Boys. There's just a lot happening, but it's been a really fun rewatch, and there's just so much joy in it that I think right now during lockdown-ish times, it's just been really elating. And since this week is costumes, I got a little inspiration for my Halloween costume this year from season 3 of Stranger Things.
Well, Ghostbusters, what are you doing?
Good guess. I like where your head's at. I am gonna play a date night Hopper. I ordered the shirt. I've
Nice.
ordered the stash. I've got a sheriff's badge coming. I'm gonna put a pillow under there.
Fantastic.
I'm stoked. Should be a lot of fun.
So you have a Halloween party you're going to?
No, not
or just
really.
for fun. Okay, that's
Just
cool.
for fun.
Gonna cosplay at your own home.
Yeah, basically. Just hang out with my cat.
Nice.
And, maybe I'll dress him up as a Demogorgon. And
Well, he's already got a costume.
you're right.
true.
You're right.
That's true.
And he has almost worn it once. So that video will be coming your way, Kelly.
Excellent,
Oh,
which
yeah,
will be
that's
then
cool.
posted to the page so that everyone
Absolutely.
can see.
As it should
My
be.
pain is your all joy. So
Costuming a cat is a pain. Well, you mentioned briefly the Star Trek Lower Decks, which I also started to watching. I watched about 2 episodes maybe now. And it's by the guys who do Rick and Morty.
yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's great.
It feels so
so much
weirdly Star Trek. It's fun and it's well written and it's silly in a way that isn't Star Trek, but at the same
Yeah.
time, the sound effects are from Next Gen.
Yep.
Straight up, the sets, the designs, it just feels, and each episode feels like a very much structured.
Yeah, it's the idea behind it, for those of you that don't know, is these are the people on the lower decks of the Star Cruisers. And the people who repair the replicators and do all the general maintenance stuff and things along those lines.
Yeah, and in the interns and the people who are working their way up and haven't quite made it to command yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Star Wars. Wasn't there a Star Wars version of that where the guys it was a YouTube kind of thing where guys who were cleaning the toilets on the Death Star or something, and it was pretty good, but it was really, really goofy. It was just some
Right.
low budget thing.
That's
someone
not
put
what this
together.
is then.
No, this is
This feels like Rick and Morty level.
it looks like Rick and Morty a little bit too.
But not filthy.
No.
No. It's fun and
Well,
it does get a bit outrageous at times.
It's got a little filthy. Like the first one, there's 2 guys and a girl, or 2 women and a guy in the holodeck, and the guy leaves, and the lady's like, "Okay, I got something to show you." And it switches, and it's all a bunch of naked guys exercising. The one lady's like, "This is very detailed." So, but well worth watching this. I think this is also a CBS
It is
exclusive.
All access.
I think it's an all access as well. But I mean, that's how I've been viewing it. That's actually why I finally paid for CBS. I was like, dang it, you guys finally got me. I've been evading you for so long. I was so proud. And then I was like, I give in. I got through all of Discovery seasons 1 and 2 and Picard before doing this.
Nice.
You didn't want to give money just because of the brilliance in naming something all access, but making it
Correct. I will also
only,
not be giving money
Only
to
to
Peacock.
subscribers.
only available to a select few.
Nope, not
I
a
will
fan.
give CBS credit. Yeah, you got to pay for it, but damn, man, as far as network TV goes, they set up easily the best on-demand programming set. Just the way their app works and the way it's structured and all that. They did a great job. I don't know if anybody else's NBC, Fox is nowhere to be seen on these kind of things. And NBC's Peacock, I haven't really looked at yet, but they did a good job.
Remind me what it's costing a month for this?
I think it's $8 a month with commercials and $10 a month without commercials.
Wow. So
Is it 8?
that sounds
like
right.
$5.
$7.99, I think, is what I heard.
Probably. Well, whatever. I'm still paying it. It's fine. It's worth it for Star Trek.
Grudgingly.
I guess it's about the price of a Star Trek action figure a month. So I can.
It's less than that, actually. Those freaking things cost like $15 to $20 nowadays.
No, the old ones that I
okay.
collect that never gained value because they overproduced them. And so I've got collector's edition number 5,600,000.
Only 5 million made.
Yeah, I only
limited
have.
edition.
Yeah, exactly. But it's Picard in the fun outfit from when he was doing the holodeck. I do have the holodeck series, so
Nice.
Nerd.
I know no one knows, and then they find out, and then they're like,
Did I show you my Invincible action figure?
Action figure? Yeah, exactly. Damn, does that look promising?
Oh, the trailer for Invincible came out. We were talking about the Invincible comic book, and then like that night, the trailer dropped on Amazon.
missed this.
And it's an animated series, and it looks like it's gory and funny, and J.K. Simmons as the dad, as Omni-Man, and
Such a
so
good choice.
I was like, what? Oh my God! So I'm very, very excited for that.
Is that next year? It comes out
I
next year.
think
doesn't
yeah, but I think it's
February,
early, yeah, January or February. So.
Nice.
Anyway, should we take a little break, you guys, and come
Sounds
back
good.
with masks and costumes?
absolutely.
Do we have to wear them?
We'll be right back.
Make Halloween fun with one-stop shopping at Woolworth or Woolco for your Halloween needs. Costumes from $1.83 to $3.99, like $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, superheroes, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and a new favorite for girls, Holly Hobby. You can get wrapped candies of every kind, bubblegum, lollipops, fun-size candy bars. Get this Halloween record, sounds to make you shiver, just $1.89. Make Halloween fun and easy. Make just one stop at Woolworth or Woolco.
And we are back. Eric made the mask joke, which allowed me to break out my They Live mask.
It's so good. It's so good. I ordered the They Live Kickstarter board game.
Yes,
And
so
I
did
am I'm so excited. I'm hopeful. Like this just inspires hope in me that it could even remotely be this cool looking because your mask is awesome.
I love that the game has, you can buy extra sets too, sets of glasses, and you put the glasses on the cards, say different things.
Yes.
Stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah.
It's very clever. I hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah, that's always the hope with these things.
Or that it shows up at all, i.e. Evil Dead game.
Right. Which
Oh, no.
I finally got that. And then I
did
saw,
they actually do it?
yeah, and then I saw that you kicked in for The Thing.
Oh my God, this will be my third The Thing board game. Because I got the Mondo The Thing, which I was too late on, which meant I had to pay too much money for it, but it's fine. And then I got the Who Goes There Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And then this is another They Live, but like or sorry, the Thing, but it's like Europe, I guess.
Yeah.
So somehow it's different
That's
enough.
the UK version, because when I look at the Kickstarter, that's like, oh, this is not in dollars.
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a different game. Isn't the same as any of
Yeah,
them.
I
but
knew that.
They were like in the breakdown. It's like, why should you spend money on this? Isn't it just this game or this game? It's like, no, we're doing it this way. So I'm like, I guess I'm going to buy a third thing that I have no one to play with. So, I hope
Lots
they're
of
all
cool
good.
miniatures, though. You'll be able to play with yourself.
I'm pretty excited. It's a good
Came out a
thing
little
to
weirder
own.
I was
than
gonna
I
say,
expected.
see, I grew up an only child, so growing up playing board games on my own was just something you did.
I mean, I was so far behind my siblings that it really
was
was
very
just
like
me
that,
and my
yeah.
mom, or me and my best friend and my mom. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. Mousetrap is a little disappointed to play on your own. Oh, I caught myself.
Who could have seen this coming?
Who would have known? I had a board game of something called Dizzy Dinosaur, where you stack cavemen on top of each other and wind up a dinosaur and let it loose. And that was a lot of fun by yourself. Because you just get to watch things topple and you have no idea where the dinosaur is going to go. It's very fun.
Wow.
Very
I
simple.
think that was sold when I was working at KB Toys. How much freaking older than you I am.
Yeah, I was like 4 or 5.
Oh, well, maybe not.
Eric was only 7 when he was working there in his defense. So
They just let me stand
Very
in the
close
back.
name.
And,
his mom was like, all right, boy, it's about time you started carrying your weight in this house.
Sits a job application down in front of you. You get a crayon.
What's a social security number?
You should have an EID by now, son.
All right. Well, we've gone wildly off topic. And that topic is costumes and masks. This was my subgenre, and I just wanted to keep it kind of in the Halloween thing. You know, we're seeing lots of masks and stuff. But I didn't want it to be just Halloween. It didn't have to be that. It just had to be memorable costume or mask. And I think I said no superhero movies.
That's
But I immediately broke my own rule and chose from 1968 Super Argo and the Faceless Giants.
Super Argo is watching the mountain home of a master criminal where deep in the ancient dungeons an electronic brain controls an army of robots. Super Argo is watching a diabolical plan to unleash a horde of faceless monsters on the helpless world. One man against the strongest, cruelest, most dangerous team of evildoers ever conceived by the brain of a power-mad mastermind. Super Argo and the Faceless Giants. The eyes of Super Argo are watching, searching, asking, who is the mad scientist? What is the secret power he controls? Can the strength of Super Argo overcome these mysterious creatures in their insane bid to rule the world? Super Argo and the Faceless Giants. The FBI, Scotland Yard, and Interpol are helpless. The police of the world admit defeat until Super Argo goes into action. Alone against a robot army. Can he escape the cruel tortures the Faceless Giants inflict on their innocent victims? Spectators watch with horror as a professional fight turns into a life and death struggle. Super Argo. Can no weapon stop the ruthless advance of the invincible monsters? Must humanity flee before their savage onslaught? The only hope is Super Argo, his courage, his strength, his skill. These are the faces of Super Argo's friends, but one is a friend of his faceless enemies. One person is determined to kill Super Argo. Who is the traitor? The The answer lies in the action-packed, thrill-filled, spectacular adventures of Super Argo and the Faceless Giants. Super Argo and the Faceless Giants. Don't miss Super Argo and the Faceless Giants.
Straight out of Marvel.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
1968, Italian. I could find no budget or box office. And the Rotten Tomatoes, no critics, but the audience has it at 34%.
Oh no.
68 Italian film. That's kind of high.
Yeah.
This movie is quite silly, but I loved it. It is available on Amazon Prime. It was directed by Paolo Banchini, Paolo Banchini. I said that right. Or Banchini?
Sure. I can verify that for you.
Thank you. 22 credits, all Italian cinema and TV movies, including Super Andy, which is a spoof of Superman. Super Andy arrives in Italy after the destruction of his home planet, Krypton.
What?
From 1977. I'll be searching this one out.
God, no kidding.
It was written by Julio Bux, who has 16 credits, mostly Italian, including A Bullet for Sandoval, Murder by Music, and Evil Eye.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And it stars Ken Wood, who has over 100 credits, mostly Italian. I picked out my favorite of these. My favorite of the titles. I have not seen any of these. Kill Them All and Come Back Alone. Hold on, I'm not done. Mean Frank and Crazy Tony.
Oh my God. Yes.
And Super Stooges versus the Wonder Women.
Wonder Women.
Yes.
Oh, Stooges.
I guess it should be,
women.
I realize I say that sexist like, right? Women. It's woman.
Oh, the Wonder Woman.
The Wonder Woman.
Interesting.
He also played Super Argo in 2 of these films. This is actually the sequel to the first movie. Now, I didn't know that while I was watching it, and it made no difference.
How did you find this thing?
Because when I was watching Danger Diabolic several weeks ago,
Yeah.
this popped up on other movies you might enjoy.
Oh
and
my
I saw the
God.
cover for this, and I was like, you goddamn right, I'm going to enjoy it.
This is such a weird pull. Okay. I'm
It
in.
also stars Guy Madison, who has 66 credits, including Hell Commandos, The War Devils, and 8 years as Wild Bill Hickok in the 50s TV show The Adventures of Wild Bill Hickok, which comes out to about 122 episodes as the lead.
Oh, man.
So, boy, this movie is not great, but very fun. Super Argo is an ex-wrestler. Now, I have found out in my research that he was a wrestler in the first movie, but he accidentally killed somebody in the ring and he retired. I didn't know any of that. They kind of gloss over that very quickly, that he was an ex-wrestler. But when we meet him, he has taken up studies in Eastern mysticism with the aid of his new sidekick, Kamir.
That's a good name.
Also, just in his wrestling outfit constantly. Mask, wrestling outfit, tights, shorts,
Like the
boots.
Mexican.
Yes,
films.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. So, but when we first meet him, he's the U.S. government is having, or it's not the U.S. government, the government is coming to talk to him. They're going to need his help on something, and they walk in on him, and he's levitating above the floor on his back. This is how good he's gotten at his Eastern mysticism studies. And when he comes down to the ground, the government agent doesn't believe that was real, and so he then uses telekinesis to explode a vase across the room. He's like, "Oh yeah, what do you think of that?" So there's been this rash of crimes involving major athletes who've been accosted and then kidnapped. by faceless giants. Remember, the name of this is Super Argo and the Faceless Giants, right? So that's what they've been telling Super Argo. When we finally meet them, they are neither faceless nor giant.
Wait a
They
minute.
have faces, and most of them are shorter than Super Argo. So
Is this just like a mistranslation?
I have no idea. I didn't care. I was just delighted. I was like, wait a second. Those guys have faces, and they're really just regular sized. So they turn out to be robots, basically. Super Argo he's been tasked to protect this lady, and he immediately gets attacked, and she gets kidnapped, and he doesn't protect her, and it's just like, way to go, Super Argo. But he's got this.
Super Argo.
Yeah, he's got this, stylistic way of fighting. You might call it wrestling. So when the faceless giants come in, he grabs them and then throws them like they're going over the top ring and stuff like that. Nice. And he does spear one of them to a wall, but when he comes back, he's gone. So we learn very quickly that these are robots. I should also say that Super Argo has this amazing mid-'60s white Jaguar, Jaguar. And he uses that to chase everything around. So if you can imagine this guy in his wrestling mask and tights in this awesome Jag, and his
so good.
Yeah, it does.
and his sidekick in the passenger side as they're chasing down. And this car has some pretty groovy little things that come out later.
I can only imagine like the horn plays some really fun song.
Oh, that would have been great, but that does not happen.
Damn.
He tracks the kidnapped woman to this castle, basically in the middle of the woods on this cliff, and it's clearly footage from a different film, where that castle is. And then there are a lot of battles going on in the woods, which kind of, showcases the budget of this thing. It's like, well, we certainly can't have him fighting anybody in the city because that would require a permit of sorts, I bet. So we'll just make sure that he keeps his Jag is out in the middle of the woods and not on like roads or anything.
Just like in the woods.
Like in a path. And these guys are attacking him.
There's like people walking their dog, getting out of the way.
Yeah. So the government has called him in to find out who's operating these robotic men and what they want. And it turns into a pretty basic spy film. That's where it starts lagging, except I was just delighted because nobody cares that he's in full costume with his man. What are the Mexican wrestlers called? Why can't I think of that name?
Oh my God, I know. I'm having the hardest time. I used to be obsessed
Everybody
with
who's listening right now is yelling it at me.
Yes, I can see the meme now.
Luchador. There you go. So he's basically a luchador mask and this wrestling outfit, and he's talking to the police and everything, and they're all like, "Oh, hey, aren't you Super Argo, the famous wrestler?" He's like, and the thing is, I got to see this first movie because he's showcasing all of these new powers. I have no idea how he got anything done the first time because he can like read minds now and he can throw things telekinetically.
Let's hope the first movie is just a straightforward kind of wrestling drama and it just kind of ends as a note, and then the next one just starts up and he has all these powers.
that would be great too. The original movie is called Super Argo versus Diabolicus. So it turns into a basic 60s spy movie, and he fights a lot of these robot men, and it's not great, but super fun. The good bits include a robot man getting speared to the wall, Super Argo's very cool Jaguar, which knocks down and impales bad guys in the wooded clearings.
Nice. That helps.
Robot men who get electrocuted when Super Argo lifts an electricity pole, a power pole like Hercules would, and drops it all on them, and they all get electrocuted. But my favorite was Super Argo and his sidekick escaping from a room of poisonous gas by levitating into the air to avoid it. because the gas is heavier than air. They make sure to explain that to us.
Oh, sure. Good.
And there is a pit of quicksand that
Excellent.
that they fall into as well. So, and it comes back at the end. That may or may not be how the bad guy goes.
Ooh, spoilers.
So that's really all I've got on this. I love this movie, and I was like, boy, I cannot wait to dig into the trivia on this. I couldn't find anything about this on anything, including the fact that the writer died at 46 years old, and his father died a week later, and I could find nothing on this, like how they died or anything.
Wow.
And I'm just like, oh, there's got to be some stories going on here, but nothing I could dig up. So that's pretty much it for me this time.
So if you happen to be an expert on late 60s Italian superhero wrestling movies, please contact us and let us know more about this.
Tony, we're looking at you.
Big nod. Well, I believe that puts me up next.
Yay.
So the movie that I went with is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Listen, he just walked up out of the rain. I swear to God, that's all there was to it.
Did my father say anything to you the night he died?
I don't know. Your father came into the hospital and I thought he was crazy, out of his mind. He's hanging onto a Halloween mask. He wouldn't let it go. And what he said was, "They're going to kill us. All of us." And in a little while, he was dead. And I don't know what the hell is going on.
I've been doing some detective work. I think my father ran into trouble somewhere between here and Santa Mira.
Santa Mira, founded in 1887. Colonel Cochran converted it into a toy factory.
You happen to know anything about this Cochran?
He's watching you, friend, I guarantee you that.
Where are they taking her? They're taking her to the factory.
I've got nothing here to indicate there was ever a body at all.
Operator, this is an emergency. They're gonna kill us all.
Why, Cochran? Do I need a reason? I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children. But there's a better reason. You don't really know much about Halloween. Halloween. Between the real and the unreal. The dead might be looking in.
You've got to believe me!
The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red. Witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment.
Stop! Stop it!
The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it. And happy Halloween.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
Now,
I've never heard of this one.
I've been dying to do this movie for so long. And I know, I like always want to do the Carpenter ones. And
I almost chose this for my witch movie, and I didn't because I had spoken of it many moons back.
Yeah.
BV.
yes, and that's the thing. Again, 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, I'm like throwing my privilege around like it's nothing.
Yeah, check your privilege.
But I can't help it. I can't. I gotta address this. This is like the perfect costume movie. You can't. It has to be included.
Well, tell us all about it then.
All right. Well, some of you already heard this, especially if you went through the archives. However, maybe you'll learn something new. I'm going to take you on a journey. All right.
There you go.
So this came out October 22nd, 1982, an hour and 38 minutes long. Rotten Tomatoes believes it is a 42% critics and 27% audience.
Fuck those guys.
Jesus
Fuck them
Christ,
all the
man.
way. Like, what? Ugh, it's fine. Budget was $2.5 million. Box office was $14.4 million.
That's not so bad.
It is considered the worst Halloween movie by many.
I mean, are you talking about the budget or how it did at the box office or
just
public
as
perception?
Public perception. Yeah, public perception, critical perception. A lot of people hate this film and hated it at the time.
A lot of people are wrong.
I agree. But a lot of people also said that this was like, I came across a ton of articles about how this almost killed the franchise and like people, I guess I listened to a behind the scenes with the director and he was talking about how they did a really poor job advertising. So nowhere along the way did they say, by the way, this movie will not have Michael Myers in it. So it wasn't until people were in theaters and like got to the end of the film and were like, where was he? So I get that.
It didn't help that they also marketed it with the tagline, "The night no one came home," which is right after the night he came home and stuff like that.
Yeah, and because there was a second one, I do understand. I'm a huge fan of this movie already because the original concept for the Halloween films was that each movie, if they did more than one, would be a story that took place on Halloween.
Right.
And you can see this, the proof is in the pudding because John Carpenter went on to make a comic series where this basically, he just does an anthology of stories in this exact same manner. So it's clearly something that he was into. Didn't really happen with the second one where he was sort of pigeonholed into making a second film in the series because it just made so much money. But him and Deborah Hill had this concept to make this crazy, more of a sci-fi pod people film that took place on Halloween as well. And so they just got their buddy, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who had a huge role in the first Halloween film. He's kind of not given a lot of credits, but he actually did a lot more behind the scenes than what he's listed as, which is ironic because in this movie, he's credited for something he did not do, which is write it.
Oh.
Really?
Yes. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tommy Lee Wallace, for anybody who doesn't know, he went on to actually do some really cool stuff. He did 3 episodes of Twilight Zone. Is that right? He did It Part 1 and 2, which is pretty great for the 1990 miniseries.
Okay.
And then unfortunately he did Vampires Los Muertos, which is the sequel to Vampires. But he did some interesting stuff. He also played a ghost in The Fog. He was the editor as well as the production designer on Halloween. And anyway,
I heard that Ghost in the Fog completely wrong. It's like, I was about to ask you, in which movie was he the Ghost in the Fog? Oh, shit. Never mind.
In the fog, Eric. Like I said, it was produced by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter, who Carpenter is also an uncredited writer to add to the complexity. We'll get to that later. He was the music. He also did the music on it. Cinematographer was Dean Cundy, who's amazing. He also, I believe, had done Halloween in the Fog and a bunch of other Carpenter films. He has 101 credits, including Jurassic Park, Apollo 13, The Thing, Back to the Future 1 through 3. This guy is freaking awesome. And the lighting in Carpenter films is one of my favorite things. And so Dean Cundy's amazing. Anyway, starring Tom Atkins.
Tom motherfucking Atkins.
Tom fucking Atkins. Tom Thrill Me Atkins.
Got me a Tom Atkins action figure at home.
I gave one to one of my friends.
Night of the
I wish I
Creeps.
had one myself. Ugh, so good. Anyway, he plays Dr. Daniel Chalice, the sex machine, the sex god that is a doctor and a detective all rolled into one. You guys may remember him as the kid in the car from Owl and the Pussycat. Or he played Coco Apelica, troublingly, in Hawaii Five-0.
I was going to bring that one up.
He was also Atreus in Xena Warrior Princess. And of course, he's in, as we mentioned, Night of the Creeps. was in ninth configuration, worked as one of the leads in The Fog. This also has in it Stacey Nelkin as Ellie Grimbridge, the hot chick who is around for reasons, who definitely does not look like Adrienne Barbeau. So don't worry about that. And then Daniel O'Harely, who plays Connell Cochran, who is the baddie in this film. He was Andrew Packard in Twin Peaks. He played the old man in RoboCop 1 and 2. And he had not one, but two roles in Murder, She Wrote. So a little something there for you. The plot. So there's these masks, right? So we start off with a man being chased mysteriously by some car. He hides out in this sort of junkyard area. He's being chased by these two dudes in suits. You're not really sure what's going on, but one of them gets out, comes after him, and has some kind of crazy amount of strength. He's able to lift a car and like pull things, crush things. Everything is way overpowered. So it's kind of like, what is up with these dudes? And the man kind of starts to escape, gets away, manages to get to a hospital where he runs into Mr. Tom Atkins, aka Dr. Chalice, and tells him in a sort of hazy manner, there's mask. Something about something is happening. It's very unclear. He's holding in his hand a silver shamrock pin. Doctor is got his own side plot where he is always on the phone or a couple times in person with his wife. They have a very strained relationship. He's not a very good husband or father, apparently, by any means. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to hang out and watch out over the kids tonight. Psych, I'm going to go to the hospital because apparently I'm the only doctor in existence on staff. So he's constantly bailing on them, which sort of sucks. But it sets up this sort of relationship of this sort of estranged father who doesn't quite know how to be a good dad. Mm-hmm. So he's working the night shift when this guy comes in, checks up on him, everything's good, walks out of the room, nurse walks out of the room, and figure comes in and takes the guy and I believe he crushes his head in completely. It's really grotty. It's intense. It's an intense moment. Like, stuff. Anyway, so the nurse is like, help. And so, of course, the doctor, for some reason, thinks he's going to catch up to this guy, runs out after the guy. The guy lights himself on fire and blows up the car. Then we begin the great mystery. The daughter of this dude who just had his head collapsed shows up the next day to try and figure out what's going on, ID her dad, all that kind of stuff. And she begins...
Harder than she thought it would be with his crushed head. Is this your father? I mean, could be.
Looks like his shirt. I think it's right. She has some big questions about what's going on. She wants to know kind of where her father was, how this... Yeah, like there's a mystery happening here. And of course, Tom Atkins, I believe, just finds her to be really hot and decides to go along with her.
Me too.
She's beautiful.
She's beautiful. Yeah.
She's a beautiful woman. She has curly blackish hair. She's kind of petite.
She kind of looks like Adrienne Barbeau.
She looks a little like Adrienne Barbeau. Oddly. Beautiful woman, though. Barbeau, thank you. Thank you. I have a lot of people screaming at me right now, so I appreciate that. So they begin this mystery where they're following this kind of silver shamrock thing. They're not quite sure what it is. They go to the town, this really small town where everyone there is Irish. And the only thing that happens there is there's a silver shamrock company that makes these kind of fun toy products. And they are also making these masks. And there's a TV commercial that is happening over and 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 over again, which is a little jig and super annoying the first 2 times you hear it. And then after that, because they're revealing information through it, it becomes really fascinating. And it's talking about kids. Buy these masks. You want to wear them at, I think it's 9 p.m. or 7 p.m. on Halloween night. So get your masks. And we start to see all these kids, all over the place have masks. His kids have the masks. I believe they have the witch and did one of them have the pumpkin? I can't quite remember. But there's a strange thing going on. And so they follow this mystery all the way to the town where they sleep together.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting kind of dark. Guess we can't do any sleuthing now. It's also there's a really beautiful moment where he has to call his wife and let her know that he's not coming to hang out with the kids again. And he's got like the beer, like a case of beer on the phone booth, and the chick in his like pop down car, like car open behind him, like waiting for him, like, all right, let's go. And he's like, yeah, I got doctoring to do. Can't be there. Sorry. Hangs up, grabs beer, jumps in car, drives off. Really classy.
You know what? I don't remember you having any issue with him playing the exact same character in The Fog.
No, I don't. But I don't really have a problem with it this time. I just find it amusing because it's just so like over the top.
I wonder if they were like his agent, are you worried about being typecast, Tom? He's, what, as an awesome dude?
In one of the interviews I saw with Tom Atkins, he did say, well, anytime somebody makes me a lead, I will play it. It was just like, yeah, of course I'll be in it. You want me to be star? Sure. So I don't think he had many qualms, if any, about this. After they sleep together, they then manage to sneak into the factory where these toys are being made. It's kind of the CEO / owner / small town god is played by oh my god, I've lost it now. Sorry. Is Connell Cochran, and everyone just looks up to him, thinks he's amazing, and there's obviously something amiss. We're not quite sure what it is, but there are security cameras everywhere, and those dudes in suits are following them constantly. Lo and behold, maybe these masks aren't up to snuff. Maybe there's something going on in here. Maybe they will turn everybody's heads into evil putty.
With bugs.
With bugs.
Don't forget the bugs.
With bugs and rot away. You guys, you have to see this movie. You have to, just for the scene where they are showcase for the first time what happens with these masks. It is incredible. So basically the kids' heads are going to be mushy and turn into snakes and bugs and spiders, and they're going to attack everyone in the room, and a bunch of people are going to die. And this is a great big sacrificial thing to Stonehenge and the great gods and players that be above. Sure. And so it's a giant sacrifice or down below or out in space. You go with it as you like.
There you go.
The guys in suits are a bunch of really strong androids. This film...
It is a weird movie.
It is a weird movie when you have it written down on paper, but there are some just incredible scenes and ideas going on in it. The things I like about it, the setup and the concept is incredible. The effects are fucking fabulous. They're so good. The masks look great. They actually only made that Halloween mask for it, or the pumpkin mask for it. The other masks were already in existence. They just kind of repainted them.
Ah, okay.
Because this movie was made for very little money. There's a scene near the end where Tom Atkins is screaming on the phone with the network gods above, whoever runs TVs in general. He's like, you gotta not show this ad, you gotta not do it. And there's 3 channels, obviously 3 channels in existence that are gonna have this ad on.
Time of year.
It was
That's all you had.
It was a different world back then, where there's probably only like 5 channels and 3 of them were gonna show this ad. So he's just trying. He's like, channel 8 still has it. Channel 8 still has it. It's so fucking good. The villain, I almost did this for villains actually, because the guy who plays Connell Cochran is just, it's insane and it makes no sense, but he just rolls this beautiful villain character up into just a magical thing. He's so personable, and he has this big speech about like sacrifice.
He's ridiculously evil, and his goal is the end of the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which but you know, he's like, we have to do this from time to time. It's very important. So I don't know. He's just so happy. He's a happy man. The things I don't like about this film, and there are a few. It's not a perfect film. I don't think it should be compared to the other Halloween movies. I really love this concept that movies just take place on Halloween. I think that's very important. Mm-hmm. There's too much Atkins having sex for no reason.
What?
I'll argue that one.
There's some really long scenes that do not need to be that long, like when Atkins is fighting a surprise android. That probably doesn't need to be a surprise android, but that's okay. We're not going to get into that. It's really, really, really long. Also, Tom Atkins does this great thing where he's sneaking around the factory at one point at night, and he just becomes like putty. Like every shot, like everyone in the town is looking for him, and he just keeps slumping over his body, and he just looks like, where did Atkins go? I don't know. Shump, shump, shump. Back up again. Run, run, run. Like it's just constant. It's so strange and weird, but also funny. The town could have really been utilized a lot more. I think that they kind of gave it a setup, but I think they really should have gone with it. They should have had more people from the town like spying and like doing weird stuff. They only touched lightly on it. And I think that his wife was so one-dimensional. She was just irritating as hell. And I hate that. I don't want it to be that there is a character that exists only to be hated. So that was rough.
This was, what'd you say, 83?
This was,
I think, yeah,
82.
this is 82. Right. This is back when women were like that. So
I guess I wouldn't know because it was before I was born.
Exactly.
So I guess everything changed the next year.
Kelly started dating really young.
It was BV.
It was BV.
That's right.
What can I say? It was BV. So just a couple of fun facts about this. There's a lot we can talk about, but I'll just go with a couple of interesting things. So the Silver Shamrock Novelties Factory was actually a Familiar Foods milk bottling plant based out of somewhere in California, Lolita, California. It was actually
interesting town name.
I know.
Where do you get your milk, Lolita? What?
It's spelled differently, but yeah. We talked briefly before about writer. So on the top of the credits, it does say Tommy Lee Wallace wrote this. Actually, Carpenter asked the British sci-fi fiction writer Nigel Neal, which you guys may have touched on last week, the writer of the Quatermass series, to help him write it. He wrote a version of it, but Carpenter wasn't super thrilled. So he took a whack. Not necessarily a hard whack, but a whack at it. Nigel Neal was super insulted and furious and took his name off of it. Carpenter didn't want his name on it. Oh, no. So he passed it to Tommy Lee Wallace, who quote unquote wrote on it and made adjustments. Listening to Tommy Lee Wallace talk about it, he was like, I didn't do anything. He's like, I should not have this credit. I'm sorry. I had nothing to do with that. He was like, that's just BS.
Wow.
So the script has actually got some really interesting things going on in it, but yeah, it gets kind of waywordy. Wallace explained in an interview that the direction that Carpenter and Hill wanted to take the Halloween series, stating, he was talking about it. He said, "It is our intention to create an anthology out of the series, sort of along the lines of Night Gallery or Twilight Zone, only on a much larger scale. And of course, each year the new film that would be released would focus on some other aspect of Halloween season." So at least somebody is saying it on tape. It's not just me guessing. Hill told Fangoria that the film was supposed to be a pod movie, not a knife movie. As such, Wallace drew inspiration from another pod film, Don Siegel's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. It does feel a lot like that. And the town of Santa Maria was originally the setting for the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and named as such in the Halloween 3 as an homage to Siegel's film. Aspects of the plot prove very similar. Halloween 3's subtitle comes from, and this is something I also actually don't like about it, comes from George A. Romero's second film, Season of the Witch from 1973, also known as Hungry Wives. I find that irritating because there really isn't any similarity. Like there's no, it sounds a Season of the Witch. Oh my God, there's going to be a witch. There is a witch mask, but it really, it's a stretch.
No, what are you talking about? The dude is a witch. He's like the Witch King. It's all druidic stuff.
Okay. All right.
I'll fight you on this one.
All right. You know what? I'm going to roll over and let you win because I don't want to be mad about it. So
there you go. Anger release.
One of the producers, Irwin, disowns the entire franchise. This entire film, and said it was a stupid idea to make a Halloween film without Michael Myers. He was pissed on the commentary.
Wow.
But he did the commentary? That's interesting.
Sorry, it was a behind-the-scenes documentary. Oh. I apologize. Dean Cundey thought it was fun to work on a new adventure. So he was like, whatever, I'm filming. It's great. Yeah. This was pretty much Deborah Hill's idea, and she wanted it to be witchcraft meets the computer age. Fun fact, Tom Atkins caught cold and was sick through large parts of filming, which I find amazing because he's running around out in like the dark, cold, looks like it's been raining. He's like, he on the documentary, he's like, yeah, I was really sick. It was really hard for me to jump on that ladder that day. I'm like, oh no.
Consequently, his co-star became sick after filming.
Weirdly. In one scene when the head dissolves, one of the masks devolves into a bunch of bugs. There's a bunch of crickets that can be seen coming out of it. They had rented a lot of crickets and then could not wrangle the crickets. So apparently they had cricket sounds on set for the rest of shooting.
Oh, shit.
Very irritating.
Sound must have loved that.
Atkins thinks it ended happily in his head. He thinks that he did manage to save the day. We were left on a little bit of a cliffhanger, so it's up to you to decide. Something that may ruin it for you guys, I hope not. Happy, Happy Halloween, the Silver Shamrock song, is actually London Bridges Falling Down. Mm-hmm. It was copyright free. They made it in about a week.
That long?
Also, the announcer who gives updates on it is actually Tommy Lee Wallace, but because, quote unquote, he was fast and free and there. So they were just like, hey, buddy, go ahead and put your voice on it. And obviously they manipulated it very slightly. Tommy Lee Wallace, the director, is currently shocked that people actually like the film. He went to a screening much later. I mean, he basically was it had such a bad reception.
Oh, yeah. It was brutal.
It was rough. It was really rough. I mean, career-ending kind of stuff. And it showed some behind-the-scenes footage of when he went to a screening and a bunch of people showed up, and he was genuinely shocked. And every single person there who wanted to take a picture or have him sign something, he was just elated. He stayed all night. He was just like, oh my God, that's people great. Actually like this film. Mm-hmm. So that's it for me. Sorry, I had a lot to say.
No, it's a good film with a lot to
This is
to
not only one of, I think this is the best of the Halloween movies, and it's one of my favorite movies.
It's just, I want to ask you why. So what is it for you that makes it special? Because there are so many people that dislike it, and I find that everyone who loves it has something else that they really dig about it.
Well, so in 82, I would have been 13, and I was writing my own stories and everything. And the whole idea of witchcraft and electronics, as silly as it sounds now to have a sliver of Stonehenge in these computer chips, I thought that was the neatest idea in the world back then.
It's pretty clever.
It really is.
And the opening, most of the Halloween films start with the pumpkin that's been cut out. And you just do a slow punch in or whatever. And for Season of the Witch, it's one line at a time of computer screen that goes across building the pumpkin. And it's really neat.
I also was really impressed the last time I watched it. Now, I watch this every year about this time. Mm-hmm. So I was probably very impressed the last 10 times I've watched it. But the amount of child endangerment and actual death in this is just shocking.
It's pretty big. Yeah. I mean, the stakes are super high.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, I love this movie.
Your kids are going to become dead. and their guts are going to slump all over the place and be snakes and spiders.
All I want ever from anyone is Halloween 3-2.
Oh my God, that'd be cool. Or just
Halloween 5. No, wait.
4. I don't even know. Halloween 2. No, okay, I can't do anything with this.
I like that Season of the Witch title, and I think that they would have been better served just calling it Season of the Witch and skipping the Halloween title.
A lot of people do. That came up a couple of times on some of the behind the scenes stuff. I watched it via my Shout Factory version. Speaking of Shout Factory. I looked at every single extra on it, which unfortunately was not very many. I was actually a little sad about it, but it's all right. What the heck, Shout? Come on, give me more.
Okay, Eric?
All righty. So mine is definitely lesser known probably not lesser known than the one you were talking about. But
lesser known than Super Argo?
Yeah, I don't think so. This film called from 2016 called Boys in the Trees.
Did you ever let down a friend? Did you ever say that you'd be there for someone and then you weren't?
What's the plan for tonight?
Little trick. The freak gives me the creeps.
What's he done to you?
You want to run with the wolves, you got to kill a few lambs. So which one are you going to be?
These guys don't get you.
We're teenagers. Nobody gets us. It's half the fun.
No. Everyone has somebody who understands them.
Jonah, hey. Hey, I'm sorry.
Walk me home.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
You owe me, old pal. Notice where we are?
The bridge over Cocytus.
Once we cross, we leave the mortal realm.
And enter the world of enchantment where we see things as they really are.
We saw zombies, ghosts, and werewolves.
Just a stupid game. It was kids trying to spook each other with a bunch of fairy tales and chicken shit dares.
Let us play again.
Who wants to go hunting?
Tis the night. The moon is light, and the warlocks are at their play. Ye think that without the wild wind shall, but no, it is they, it is they.
Guess sometimes you don't realize who you've left behind.
And this is Rotten Tomatoes has it at 75 from critic and 70 from the crowd, so pretty highly rated. No idea what the budget is. It just was not out there anywhere. It did a festival run, and I think that's about it because the box office listed was $19,000.
Oh.
Was not particularly big hit, even though the ratings were pretty high. Directed by Nicholas Verseau, who's done a lot of Australian TV. He's also the writer, and his writing credits are pretty much all the stuff he did. So, starring Toby Wallace from, I did not realize there's a TV show based on this movie, but Romper Stomper.
Oh, wow.
Has a TV series. So,
what?
Yeah, that was my reaction. Like,
what?
Well, that's a happy show. Huh. Gulliver McGrath, who is, as far as actors goes, he's definitely the most experienced, even though they're all young. He was in the Dark Shadows movie, The Loved Ones. Has anybody seen that Australian
The Loved
horror
One
film?
is great.
And played one of Lincoln's children in the Steven Spielberg version of Lincoln.
Beautiful.
So he's got a pretty good little career there. And a guy named Mitzi Rollman, who I don't know what else he's been in. This is Australian-based, as I mentioned, takes place in 1997. So somehow, I don't know how Australian school years work. I even looked it up, and it doesn't seem to work. Maybe it was different in 1997, but it's Halloween, and it's the end of the school year for these kids.
Oh.
Getting ready to graduate and go to college. I'm like,
whoa.
What? So, but according to Wikipedia and other Australian sites, theirs are different than ours, but not that different. So I was like, what's going on here? Oh, well. But it starts off with bullies, mean bullies on skateboards. And kind of going. For the first,
Australia has those too.
yeah. Oh, yeah. For the first few minutes, I'm
They're
going.
just like us.
They speak English too. I don't know if their accents are good or not. I'm assuming they're good because it's all Australian people.
It's got to be.
And Australian production. But the first few scenes, I'm going, am I supposed to like any of these people? They're all dicks to start off with. But eventually one of them kind of pulls aside. You go, oh, he's going to be the guy that you're going to like. He's going to be the nice guy. But they start off doing, the Halloween things of TPing things and eggs and throwing stuff at little kids. I'm like, oh, these guys are really nasty. All of that is done to Marilyn Manson's Beautiful People.
Oh.
Pretty solid soundtrack, at least for the first 30 minutes or so, 30 to 45 minutes. And then it's when it gets in the meat of the story, the pop songs all go away. So it's kind of interesting. Of course, the asshole guys meet up with their lady friends in a graveyard so they can all hang out and do stupid shit. Although that's where he separates. You get Corey, who's kind of the nice guy, separates because he's nicer to the girls than the one girl than the other guys are. And Jonah, the victim, has been photographed. He takes pictures, and one of his photographs is him right after the bullies punch him, and he's got a bloody nose. So the bullies have gone and photocopied this photo, and they're just putting it up all over town, all over the place. I go, oh, that's so sweet. This film is gorgeous, though. Holy shit, is it well shot. The bullies go out on, I don't know if this is for the film or a tradition in Australia where they had fireworks and stuff, but they're doing stuff with fireworks and the way it's shot, and it's like, damn, this looks so rich. At one point, Corey and Jonah separate from everybody else, and they kind of go on a little tour of friends as kids, and they start going to all the places they went to as kids. And this is wonderfully introduced, where they're walking. He's like, you got to walk me home, keep me safe. It's like, whatever. But they get to a bridge, and the guy's like, remember this bridge? We cross this bridge, and whenever we cross this bridge, we go into our fantasy world. And they don't say it that way. They say it in a very well-written way, actually, where they talk about fantasy people beyond this realm. Shall we enter again? And it's just like, fuck, this is really well-written. So the acting is incredibly good, too. Holy shit.
I've never even heard of this movie.
I know, it's so ridiculously underknown. But while they continue going off, last episode we were talking about anthology ones, and I was like, what the fuck movie did I just watch with sort of an anthology feel, very similar? And it was this one where they when they're telling themselves their stories from the youth, it sort of shows you the story.
Oh, interesting.
And but those are really well done. And the bullies continue going on their rampage, and there's this incredible scene where they're driving down the street on bikes, and the lead bully's got two sparkler style things shooting out his handlebars, and they're throwing these bright colored powdered things in the air, so the air is full of blues and purples, and it's all lit from behind. It's like, fuck, this looks so cool. Like, why are you giving the bullies the coolest looking scene in the movie? So, he does it, which is a plus to the filmmaker. He's not setting it up like Karate Kid, where here's the good guys, here's the bad guys. Right. It's more nuanced than that. It's even slightly implied that the lead bully might be in love with the nice guy bully. They're both guys, but there's a slight implication that might be going on, because it's handled really well to where when he sees him with the other guy, he almost looks hurt. He doesn't really look like he's annoyed and pissed off that he's playing with the guy they all made fun of. He actually seems hurt by it. And it's really, okay, that's very cool. And they tell a harrowing story about how the point in age when they separated, when something horrible happened to the smaller of the two guys, and it was so bad that his friend couldn't deal with it, so they kind of stopped hanging out. And like, oh, that's so brutal. And I thought, okay, this is the moment of the movie. It's like, no, it wasn't. It continues to go on, and there's more history between them, and more things are going on. I mean, it's just so well handled, and it's so smartly put together. The only drawback, and this is the one thing I could see that might hurt the film, is this is not an originally told story, really. You know, what I'm talking about isn't a thing you haven't seen in 50 other films done different ways, but it goes down to the moments where it's like, well, you don't want to grow up to be your parent kind of things and stuff along those lines. And there's a confession scene where he confesses to the girl he likes what an ass he's been. And he's frustrated about it. And she has this great line where he's like, she responds to him, "You think you're frustrated here. Try living in the same world in a skirt, surrounded by a bunch of babies who don't even notice you. Why can't you guys just grow up? Girls do. We stand here waiting while you guys are stuck with your head in the trees." And it's just wonderfully delivered. And he's got a follow-up line where it all ties into the title of The Boys in the Trees. And it's just neat. It's got some not subtle, but interesting symbolism with wolves and shadows. And the nice guy is dressed as a wolf for a while. And man, it is interesting. The ending's pretty fucking dark too. It does not end on a happy note. The film was selected to screen at the Discovery section of the Toronto International Film Festival in 2016, which is usually, that's where Toronto goes, hey, here are filmmakers you need to pay attention to and watch. And they're not wrong. Unfortunately, this guy hasn't done a lot since then because this wasn't a huge hit. He's done it well. He's done a lot of Australian TV, but I'd like to see him get out and do some more stuff. The AV Club included this in their best of 2017 that we didn't review.
Honest.
Grapples with universal teen themes of fitting in and growing apart more imaginatively and sensitively than most. It's although some of the symbolism is overt, the acting, the storytelling is also wonderfully subtle at times too. It's just smart. Interesting little fact. There's not a lot of facts about this film because nobody saw it. Nobody talked about it. So I found a couple. Cars are not seen in the movie at all until there's one at the end that they needed for a storyline because they couldn't afford to rent period cars.
Oh, right. Because it takes place in 97.
Yep.
It's Australia. They have cars newer than 97 down there?
Yeah, no kidding. Even though I felt the kid's room was a little dated for 97 in that Kurt Cobain was one of the prominent posters. Michael Jordan was one of the prominent posters. Like,
that's more 93.
Yeah, by 97, those guys were fading a little bit.
Cobain, in their defense, Cobain hadn't killed himself by then in Australia.
97? Oh, okay. Because they were a day.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, let's see. The one description I came across, I don't know if Tyler you agree with, but it sounds cool. Stand By Me, reimagined by Joe Dante and Stanley Kubrick.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's how the vice president of the Palm Springs Film Festival described it. There's a segment in there, the Dia de los Muertes, which was filmed in 2 parts because the woman they wanted to sing who's in the scene that sings it, Wendy Rule, could only film for 1 day. So they shot her scene the first day of filming, because that's the only day she could be there. They shot the rest of the party at the end of the shoot. But both shots happened to fall on full moons.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Oh, that's lucky.
But I rented this from Apple.
I was going to say, how'd you watch this? I want to see this.
It's relatively available by rental. It's not hard to find. It's just nobody knows about it. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was smart, interesting. I'm glad I came across it and going, okay, this is well worth watching and talking about. It's a good film.
It's interesting because I remember it was on my list for a long time. Oh, really? I remember hearing about it, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know it was Australian.
Yeah.
And it was on Netflix for a while, and it was in my list forever. And then it just disappeared one day. And I was like, I'm going to watch that. Boys in the Trees. Oh, yeah. What? No, I guess I'm not.
Oh,
so weird. I'm glad to know that it is still available somehow, even if it's a little bit money.
Yeah, I think it's a $3 rental or one of those $3 or $4 rentals. So it's cheap.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
very cool. Well, I think that means it's your pick for the next subgenre.
So this one will come, not this one, but the one, my subject I'm talking about, will come out the week of Halloween, the Thursday before Halloween.
Let's keep it Halloweeny then.
That's right. So this is going to be kind of a weird subject. I'm blowing it open, giving you a wide range of stuff. But It has to be a film that you think if you put on in the middle of a party, everybody's wandering around party. Not that you invited them over as a party, but they're having at a party right now. You could put this movie on and people are going to stop and watch it.
I'm picking Halloween 3.
I would love for you to. I want to know what you would say about it.
No, we still have that on old
episodes.
That's true.
I like this idea. I think this is interesting. Yeah, this does kind of blow it wide open, doesn't it?
Yeah. So just have fun. Let's get some people some good, interesting Halloween horror films to watch. And yes, horror specific for this one.
Right. That makes sense. All right, guys. Well, that's the episode. Thanks, of course, to everybody who's always saying the lovely words and liking, sharing, all of that stuff. We really appreciate that. As I always say, we have zero advertising budget, so the only way we get out to other people is when you let them know you're listening to us.
That's right.
So we will be back in 1 week. We are talking about, what are we going to call that? Party films?
Something like that. Yeah, we'll come up with something more.
Okay. Do you want to party? All right, guys. We'll be back in a week.
See you.
Bye.
Our show is recorded somewhere high above Naval Station Everett at the nexus of all realities and is engineered and produced by Eric Morgret. Our theme music is Strange Aeons Part 1 by the band Nightshade and is used with permission. Find Strange Aeons Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and wherever fine podcasts are found.